Hawks and Pacers. Pacers with a real chance to make the in-season tournament, and I think they really do want to win this game. Brian, you like DeAndre Hunter in this spot. What do you like about this as far as a bounce back spot for DeAndre Hunter's PRA?
The over-under for this game is 250. So we can start there. DeAndre Hunter has not been getting his overs lately. He's actually been struggling from the field a lot. But last game, he had 9 points and a rebound at halftime and was ejected very early on in the third quarter because of a bad foul call that he was arguing against Philadelphia 76ers. So probably on his way to get that over, but did not. But I do think that this is a good get-right spot for him. Has only gotten this over once in 7 games and is somebody who can play better than he has been, quite frankly. And sort of playing against the Indiana Pacers, that would make a lot of sense for a get-right game for DeAndre Hunter, who's been struggling from the field. You're going to have a lot of pace. You're going to have a lot of offense, not a lot of defense, not a lot of resistance. So he should be able to find his shots effectively. And ultimately, I think he can produce in a game like this to sort of get his rhythm going back again.
Okay. Look, I have this, the total on this game is, it opened in the 240s and immediately got bet up. It's currently sitting at 250.5. Guess, Jay.
Oh,
I want you to guess what I have this number projected at. Guess.
265.
Brian, what's your guess?
258.
268.5 points is what I got this game projected at. Look, I mean, you know, the numbers keep going up on the Hawks. They keep going up, and this team winds up, and it's still are on the Pacers, and they still keep going over consistently. Pacers overs this season are 11-1 with a clearance of 13.9 points. Think about that. Like, we are 12 games into the season, and they are averaging 14 points over the total on these games. I don't think that they can get to a high enough number. I think it's exponential when we look in these types of spots. The question, I think, is Carlisle lit them up for their defense. Like, lit them up after that loss the other night to the Magic. Just burn them to a crisp in the postgame. And then, you know, they'll be in their face about it. Hawks are 7-4-1 to the over as well. I just kind of think that in this type of game, regardless of what your intentions are, I don't think either team is equipped to stop one another. I don't think either team can stop one another, Jay. So I don't think, I'm not going to put I'm going to put a small, like a fraction of a unit play on it, but I am going to play the over on this game. I still think at 250 it's low.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I can't bet unders with the Pacers. I mean, you look at just the way that they run their pace. I mean, they can put up 20 points in 3 minutes alone themselves. So it's really hard to bet an under at this point total. I mean, I'd like to say there's value on the under. Everybody knows that they're 11-1 to the over, so they're going to keep just putting. I mean, you might see 255s at some point, but in this particular game, in the bounce back spot, they were down 40 versus the Magic. If they're going to bring it, that means they have to bring it on a defensive end, in my opinion. I'd lean first quarter under, but as the game goes on, I mean, things could really get crazy. But I think at least to start, the Pacers will be at least a little locked in on the defensive end, but it still might be enough. I mean, I can't bet it. I'll tell you straight up.
One reason I'm not sure I love it for you, Brian, just based off of, obviously if the Pacers score, then there's fewer rebounds. If the Pacers score, the Hawks are going against a set defense, which could slow things down. And I do like Indiana here. I like Indiana plus 3.5. I don't understand. Like, I get it because the Hawks are home and the books are, again, not going to want to move significantly off of the preseason power rating to after 12 games. And I get that. And they've been skeptical. Like, there's numbers in the market that are still soft on the Pacers over under. I bet them again. But look, I have this projected. Like, the Hawks are 1-5 at home ATS. They're 1-5 this season against the spread at home. I have this with a normalized home court. If we ignore the fact that the Hawks have been bad at home, you know, they face some tough teams. Even on normalized home court, I still have this Pacers -2. I think the Pacers should be favored on the road versus the Hawks. I legitimately think that they are that much better of a team. I think the Hawks have been middling. I think the Hawks can maybe get there, but with where, like, this is not, I guess here's the thing. If you told me I could bet Pacers in January with the same players available, I wouldn't want it. If I told me I could bet it in March, I wouldn't want it. But right now, in this spot, with how Indiana's playing right now, Brian, I think the Pacers are the side at plus 3.5.
I don't disagree with that, but I do think it's just going to be so much of a free for all offensively that in order to get there, guys are going to have to put up points. And I think for DeAndre Hunter in particular, I'm watching his season production and I'm like, okay, he's not this. I actually expected him to go a little bit in the other direction where he's sort of progressed this year. And I don't think that's who he
Mhm.
is as a player. So it's more of a bet on like, dude, you have to snap out of this slump at some point. And it looked like he was going to again against the 76ers, a better defensive team. And it just wasn't the case because of the ejection. So it's really a bet on, okay, you're going to get soft defense here. Can you hit your shots? I was originally looking at points just for DeAndre Hunter at 13.5. But there was just better value to go over to 18.5 PRA. And I do think that, when he has it going, he'll get you 5 rebounds, maybe an assist or 2. So there's a bet on that as well. Again, not something that I love, but looking at the board tonight, I was like, man, I'm gonna buy low on DeAndre Hunter because like there's no way that he can continue doing this. Otherwise, we're gonna start seeing him at 13.5 PRA, not just points, and he'll be riding the bench because the Atlanta Hawks are in a position where even though they're not that good, I don't think, or they're not as good to me as some people may project them. I think that they're in a position where they feel like they have to win or do some winning right now. And DeAndre Hunter, I think for now is part of those plans, but we'll see if his play continues, if that's going to continue to be the case.